My name is SAE Al-Hallaj. I'm the CEO and chairman of All-Cell Technologies out of Chicago, Illinois.
Great. Could you describe a little bit of the innovation that you guys have here this year at the 2010 World Congress and how you see it changing the automotive industry?
Absolutely. What All-Cell specializes in is in thermal management and safety of lithium-ion batteries. As you probably know, that the whole industry is shifting toward electric mobility, and batteries are essential parts of those components of any vehicle. And one of the requirements for batteries for extending cycle life and safety is thermal management. And thermal management is something that the industry has been using for a long time, decades. It's not new. But the auto industry is very familiar with active system, which is using moving around air or liquid through compressors and fans. All-Cell has developed a cutting-edge material solution that actually does the same thing. It moves around heat, and it actually acts like a heat sink or thermal capacitor that absorbs the heat while the cell is being used. And that way you can allow the heat to be stored and released later when the battery is not in use. Or you can even integrate it with other active system, but you end up with a system total that is much smaller, lighter, and cost-wise is much more cost-effective.
Sorry, did you have more?
No.
Oh. Can you talk a little bit about what it offers the automotive industry in terms of safety possibly?
Correct.
Obviously, there's an environmental component to that.
Yes.
Some of these key issues that keep coming up over and over again as the industry is innovating, what solutions does it help bring?
Sure. One of the main aspects of our technology is we utilize the concept of phase change material, which is basically the stored heat or heat that can be released or stored in any material when it changes phase. This is well known in the science base, but to bring that technology for a product use in the auto industry is something that will benefit the industry tremendously by simplifying the design and make it more robust for new generation of vehicles which are electric based. Another thing that this technology can provide is safety. As you know, the auto industry cannot afford any safety risks. And lithium-ion batteries, actually, one of the challenges with them is safety. They tend, in some cases, when they overheat, to have some catastrophic failure that could end up in fire or explosion. This material, actually, without the use of mechanical system or electronic, as a passive material, it can absorb that heat, it can make the cell isolated, and it can protect the rest of the pack and offer the auto industry something added that stresses on, which is the safety using an innovative material solution versus similar components that they used before.
Can you describe a little bit how this innovation is different than some of the other things that are currently available?
Sure. Traditionally, mechanical engineers or auto design engineers you develop active systems for heat transfer or thermal management batteries. They move around air, liquid. They're very familiar. They're very comfortable with those systems. What we provide here is a passive system. That means you can use the system to custom design it for the battery solution, and in some cases can eliminate the need for air cooling with fans or compressors or liquid, but in some cases it can actually complement that system, and you end up with an optimum system that is, again, smaller, lighter weight, and more cost-effective and reliable than a system that is totally dependent on one component, which is a fan or a compressor.
Okay. Before we finish up, do you have anything else that you'd like to share about All-Cell that is important that you want to spread the word about?
Sure. One of the things that All-Cell did over the past few years, we found out that while everybody's focused on the auto industry, we found that one of the fastest emerging market actually is the what we call the light electric vehicle market, which is the two-wheel bikes, scooters, and neighborhood electric vehicles. And this is actually a market, it's interesting because the auto industry is evolving and consumers are demanding more options in the sense of transportation. So this market for e-mobility, electric mobility in 2 wheels, 3 wheels, and 4 wheels in the urban area is becoming very mainstream. And we have a lot of customers right now who are seeking battery solution for that market. So at All-Cell, we actually started production of turnkey battery solutions for electric bikes, scooters, and we have been very blessed and lucky that this year actually we are in the market. So I want to emphasize that this is not a technology actually that is still in development. It's a product that is in the market now in the US and Europe.
Okay.
Yes.
question.
Yes. Thank you.
Do you have a business card so I can get the right
Sure.
spelling of
Sure.
your name and
Yes.
everything?
That's going to be a little bit